Alright people, how we doing? It's going to be a fun little video here, a guide to self-development. And I've been wanting to put this together for a little bit. It's a pertinent topic in the world we're in today. A lot of new gun owners, but the good thing about this whole thing and these keys are that they're not for anybody. They're for beginners, experts, anything. This is the outline, this is the template, this is the overlying template that I use when I'm trying to learn something new. So you can be a grandmaster USPSA pistol shooter and want to learn long-range rifle shooting, and this will help you. You can be a day one beginner that just bought a firearm yesterday to defend their home, and this template is all you really need to get a nice linear progression of skills and knowledge building and confidence building and just get somewhere very quickly instead of kind of spending a lot of wasted time and effort learning bullshito that's not really applicable, or kind of nonsense information that's maybe outdated, or whatever the case might be. And the great part about this is it starts off with goals. So no matter who you are, what level you're at, your goals are different. So this template goes with goals. It's not for beginners or anything else. And the knowledge and stuff that you're seeking out also goes with those goals. So someone who's just trying to protect their house is going to have totally different goals than someone who wants to be a high-level competition shooter. So even the information, I mean, it's all completely tailor-made to you and what you're looking for. So the biggest thing to keep in mind, and the overwhelming kind of theme of this, is we don't know what we don't know, right? We don't know what we don't know. That saying, that phrase, that quote is as profound and as good as anything out there. So how I describe this in the journey of learning something new, how I describe it is, there's a building and it's a mile long and it's just one room, okay? And it's one room after another room after another room after another room for a mile, okay? And basically, you don't know what's on there's just door after door after door, and you don't know what's on the other side of those doors. So you have to go in that next room to know what's in that room. Okay, you have to observe it, absorb it, and own the information in this room, and then go through the door into the next room, and we have no idea what's on the other side of that door. And that just keeps going and keeps going. The bad part is, after we start to get some rooms behind us, we start speculating what's on the other end of the door. So that's where a lot of internet bullshito, a lot of nonsense begins, from speculative theory on what's on the other side of that door. We do not know what we do not know. Okay, I have a pretty good idea what's on the other side of that door. I open it up, and to my surprise, I was completely wrong. So that's happened a million times in my journey of coming up with what I want to get to, my journey of where I want to be as an instructor, as a shooter, all these things. I've opened that door thinking I'm going to find X, and I find Y. So that is the overwhelming thing that we need to understand. We do not know what we don't know until we know it. And when we know it, but there's probably more. So just keep that in mind. Now let's go through her. Goals. First things first, these key principles are going to keep you on track. First things first is goals. All right? And basically it all comes down to confidence, knowledge, and proficiency in X or whatever. And that's where we're going to want to start. We set some goals. We set some macro goals. Then we begin to set micro goals. So if we need confidence, knowledge, and proficiency, we're going to have to set micro goals in order to obtain that. We're going to need to set some micro goals and say, okay, I just bought a firearm, very first firearm for the home defense, budget pistol, Ruger Security 9. I'm going to set some micro goals. What's a good micro goal to set? Well, I need to know safety. I need to get confident in the actual mechanical mechanisms of this thing. How does it load? How does it unload? How does it work? What's this button do? What's that button do? What's that button do? I need to start knowing this stuff. Set micro goals. I need to know the mechanical functions and the safety aspects of this firearm. Then I'm going to take small bites, okay? I'm going to prioritize those goals, those micro goals accordingly. What makes sense? Safety, mechanical proficiency, and actually using the tool. So prioritizing those things, and then study precise subjects. So we take small bites and we set those micro goals. Don't just go on the internet and type in, I don't know, how does a pistol work or something like that. Actually look for precise things. Okay, if you want to know about grip, don't just say how to shoot a pistol. Go in, try to figure out, learn from people, and then also when you're watching someone, do not sit there and waste 10, 15 minutes watching someone go, well, and then do they seem like they own the information? Are they delivering that information in a way that's palatable, a way that's retainable? Are you getting what they're saying? If not, okay, cut it off and click the next video. There is so much of this information on the internet, so much of it. If the person really is demonstrating some high-level skills and some high-level knowledge, you're going to feel that. Okay, even if we don't know anything about this stuff, you can still feel when someone has a lot of confidence in what they're saying and what they're talking about. And then it's really good to see someone shoot if they're going to be teaching you technical skills. It's really good to know where they're getting some of their stuff from, or you know. But most of the time, just the sheer ownership of the material and the confidence in the way it's being construed to you is enough to really understand, okay, I think this guy knows what he's talking about. So sometimes somebody can fool you, but most of the time that's the way it is. All right, we're studying precise subjects. We're setting micro goals. We're taking small bites. We're prioritizing those micro goals, and again, we're studying small, precise subjects and trying to have pointed study. Study this, study that, study this. Okay. Then I want you to look at all of this stuff through the guise, especially if you're talking about concealed carry or home defense. Understand that we are trying to learn all these skills as an individual. We're not learning team tactics. We're not learning SWAT team, military door kicker stuff, team CQB, all this stuff that looks sexy and they're talking about this and talking about that. Does it apply to you as an individual? Okay, truly think about that. Learning as an individual. That will, if you ask yourself that question while watching this video or reading this article, that'll tell you, okay, I'm on to the next one. Okay, this doesn't apply to me. And what my goals are, this does not apply to me. Okay? Separate skills from tactics. Once you start getting into this whole thing and you start realizing you want to get your skill set to a higher level, but you do want to learn a little bit about the tactical side of it, the word tactics and tactical gets thrown around so much that actually as an individual, it's very, very, very rarely applicable. Most of the time as an individual, we have decision making. We really don't have tactics involved in a lot of this stuff. There is a few things that we can do to have sound tactical advantage, especially in home defense situations, communicating, just fortifying your home, different things like that that are giving us tactical advantages. And then there are certain tactics we can employ, but they are extremely simple things. We just need to learn them, and simple is all you need to know. So at the bottom here, we're going to talk a lot about that kind of stuff. But that's it, separating skills from tactics. I don't want to take a class that is talking about grip 1 minute and then talking about pieing off corners the next, okay? That's two different worlds. That's the way you have classes with 20 people in them and nobody gets any better at anything. Trust me, I've been there, I've seen it. Nobody's getting any better at anything, okay, because it's so convoluted. It's drinking from a fire hose. There's information about this and that. Guy can't even hit the target, and now you want him to do CQB, vehicle interdiction, level 2, this and that. It's like, all right, we gotta put the horse in front of the cart here, okay? So separate skills from tactics. We learn general knowledge about tactics and how to employ them. We learn skills, We get our skills to a high level, we get our knowledge to a high level, then we can start to mingle those things together. And guess what? When you get your skills to a high level and you get your knowledge to a high level separately, and then you mingle them together, you're all of a sudden a badass. Everybody that I've ever talked to who is an instructor that is their lane, teaching CQB and stuff like that, they say the same thing. Give me a really good shooter and I will make them a really, really good CQB operator for the day, you know, in a heartbeat. Give me a bad shooter and I've got a mess. Okay, a bad shooter that thinks they know everything about CQB and stuff, and I've still got a mess. We need the skills, we need the knowledge, we need to separate them, then we need to mingle them together eventually. Do not do that until you have both of them at a high level. Then when we get to practice side of the house, when we get to dry practice and when we get to live practice of shooting and whatever we're doing, no matter what the goal is, we need purposeful practice. And that is dry practice, live fire. We can't just be doing reps and reps and reps and making noise and spending money on ammo and just making a bunch of noise. Purposeful practice. Strengths, weaknesses, very, very simple, but purposeful. Purposeful. Okay, now we get down to the bottom here. So that's the key principles you need to have in mind. Goals, macro goals, micro goals. Small bites, prioritize, learning as an individual, precise subjects, studying pointed subjects, separating skills from tactics, and purposeful practice. That'll take you as far as you ever want to go. Your own ambition is the only thing that's ever going to hold you back if you use these things. All right? So now we get to navigating the landscape. This is where the making fun of goobers comes in. Okay, we want linear progression. We want linear progression of skills and knowledge. That means linear, going upward, okay? A straight line. We do not want plateau after plateau after plateau because those plateaus can be years. Just cruising, and then a little bump in skill and a little bump in knowledge and then cruising. Plateau after plateau. Trust me, a lot of people pay me money so that I can bump them and bounce them off of that plateau so we can light a fire under their ass and get them off of that plateau. And most of the time we have to go backwards to get them out of that plateau so that now we can go back, fix all this stuff and get into that linear progression so we can really ramp up quickly and get to where we want to go. It is what it is. If we have the chance, though, we want to use all these things and learn the right way first so we don't waste years on plateaus. So, good techniques, we want to learn from the best. If you're learning shooting skills, learn shooting skills from people who are really good at shooting. If you're watching a YouTube video of someone teach you how to grip a pistol and stuff, but they're not that great of a shooter, probably just go to the next one, because guaranteed there's lots of people on there that are extremely good at this stuff. Now, that doesn't mean that you can just go watch the best shooter in the world and they're going to be the best instructor or teacher or coach in the world. So we have to find some blend of both. If the person is really getting through to you, then watch their stuff, even if they aren't the greatest shooter ever. All right? Mix in, we gotta, but for the most part, if they're teaching technique-based stuff or shooting at all, they should be a really good shooter. All right? I don't want you to watch people that hide behind their resume of they were super Delta operator, but then when you watch them shoot, they're not very good at shooting, but they're teaching you. You're Johnny Homeowner. We're Johnny EDC, Concealed Carrier. Nothing that you did in your past job is going to be there with me on the day. I need skills. I need to know how to do this stuff. You being Delta SEAL SOC, Marsh SOC, everything doesn't mean nothing. That's not going to be there with me. I can't reach into my pocket, pull out a resume and say, hey, wait. The guy that taught me how to shoot is really legit, okay? No, I need those skills. That's all I got with me. All I got with me is my tools and my skills, and I need them now. So let's learn from people who are really freaking good with the tools. All right, now this is where it gets into the Bushido master of the world stuff. All right, these four things: word salad, neuromuscular butthole bullshit, uh, uh, overcomplication, over exaggeration, speculative theory. If you ask yourself, am I hearing any of this shit while I'm listening to any of someone's instruction? Any of it. Word salad. Is the person saying a bunch of $3 words when they could be saying extremely simple shit to me? This stuff, all this shit we're doing, tactics, skills, knowledge, all of it is extremely simple stuff. There is no word for $3, $10 words. Okay, there's no room, for that stuff. There isn't. There's no reason that you need to speak in a way where someone has to pause a video and get out their Siri and say, what the hell does this mean or that mean? Or it's just, you see it constantly. And you don't need to be a dum-dum and dumb everything down, but don't sit there and try to be Mr. Scientific talking about simple. This all is so simple. It really is. So overcomplication, that kind of goes with the word salad, but overcomplication of each individual task, each individual thing, you're going to see that a lot. You'll start to see, man, does this really need to be that complicated? Okay? Over exaggeration. This sells, right? If we over exaggerate our movements and how things need to be done and all this stuff, that shit sells. It's very evident. Over exaggeration sells. If the person, most of the time they're doing all this shit. they're throwing out word salad. They're overcomplicating every individual task. They're over exaggerating every movement and everything that they're doing, the way they're speaking, everything. And then the fourth one is speculative theory. This is going to happen when this happens, and this is going to happen in a gunfight, and this is going to happen in home defense, and this. Nah, homie, you don't know what's going to happen. That is called speculative theory. You are speculating and theorizing on what you think is going to happen. If you see any of those four things in any video, anywhere, anytime, scroll, click the next one, all right? I'm telling you, it is out there and it is everywhere. It is in abundance. So making simple stuff complicated is the mark of a Bushido master, all right? That's what they got to bank on. If you make things simple, these Bushido masters often think, well, if I tell people to do things and I make it too simple, then they won't think that I'm an expert. The point of being a coach, a teacher, a trainer, an instructor, is to take complicated materials and make them easy, palatable, retainable. Not to make them more complicated. I've seen so many things where someone takes a simple concept and uses a bunch of words and a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of scientific nonsense to make it overcomplicated, over-exaggerated. Throw in some word salad. You've got Johnny B, freaking tactical operator of the month, instructor guy. So self-development is simple. However, simple does not mean easy. Okay? That is where everybody gets hung up. All of this shit that we're doing is simple. It just isn't easy. That's the thing. Okay? None of this stuff is that easy. Learning how to draw a handgun really well and present it in front of your face. Grip a handgun really well to get the slide to track super flat so you can just and drive somebody and fill somebody in, even at 25, 30 yards, just ding, 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 and drive them. That's not easy, but it's simple. It really is. Now, there's a million little nuanced techniques and things in there that aren't necessarily simple as a whole, but the act of doing it, the act of learning it, the act of teaching it, it's basically pretty simple stuff. Okay? Yes, if we were to go into one tiny facet of shooting right now, I could talk for 4 hours on that very small thing and go into 15 little nuanced and just the minutia of every little part of that and how to do it. But that as a whole might be complicated and just a ton of material. But I could give it to you in a way that's simple. And I've practiced. I have talked to a wall for hours to practice, to make this shit palatable, to make this shit retainable. Any good instructor, any good coach is not going to feed you a bunch of word salad, overcomplication, over-exaggeration, and speculative theory. They're not going to do it. Extremely simple, confidence building, easily retainable, data-backed material, combined with purposeful practice and pointed study, equals linear progression. See you later.